Hello everyone! During this workshop, we are going to talk about various games that you can play with your students. When it comes to phonics teaching, you're dealing with little children. So when it comes to review, you are gonna have a big headache, right? Since they're little children, you don't want to overwhelm with lots of quiz and then test and extra. So playing with a game is a big alternative that you can do with your students to check their understanding. So throughout this workshop, I hope you can get some useful tips out of that you can do with your students during your phonics classroom. So we're going to start with checking the word's meaning. Yes, phonics means we're going to teach them the letter-sound relationship for them to be able to read the unknown words, right? But ultimately, we want them to read those words within a sentence and also understand the meaning within a sentence. In order to do that, yes, they need to be able to read the word, but also you want them to understand the meaning. That's why we reinforce them throughout the unit with the motion and also the pictures with this picture card. So you can definitely play with this picture card to review, to check their understanding. If you don't have enough time, don't worry about it too much. I like to do some speed game with my students. If I don't have enough time, then whenever I greet my students, I stand in front of the classroom, just give them like 2 each, so they can say this word like right with the motion and then high five, and then they're gonna come into the classroom. Then if you're lucky, you might have enough time to the whole class activity. Then voila. This is one of the examples that you can play with your students. So you're gonna have this 9 flashcards in this board, right? So if you have a big group of students, you can divide your students into 2 groups. Boy versus girls, or this group versus that group, as you wish. So they can come to the board and then you can put them in 2 lines, right? And either they can throw this sticky ball directly at the flashcard, right? Because I like to get my card laminated. I'm very obsessed with it. So you have your reality, so you can do whatever you want. So if you don't have this laminated flashcard, then don't worry about it. You can have this pointy card, right? You can do as manually with your hands, or if you have this kind of sticky board, then you can use this sticky ball that allow your students to throw the ball directly at the board. So one student by one student, they can throw their ball, or you can point the card. So they're going to show the motions, dive, for example, and then say the word out loud. If this student comes first, right, then this team is going to get this card, right? Yeah, this team wins. Good. And then second row comes forward, and then this one. Rise, right? So they are going to, either one of them, who say it, do it first, then they're going to get the card, right? So whomever get the most card, then they're going to win, right? And if you don't have enough students to have 2 teams, don't worry about it. And then just make a 1 line of your students, and then they're gonna come to board, and then they're going to throw the ball, or you can point directly at this card. So they're going to do the motion, they say the word, and they're going to get this card. So you can do depends on the size of your classroom. And then one of the tips that I can give you is this little like props that you can prepare easily. This is a really fancy version of it, but I bet you have the most, how can I say that, active students in your classroom who can sit properly in just 10 seconds, right? So I invite those students as judges. So they're going to sit right next to me. So they're going to listen, and then they're going to show this sign if they think that word is correct or wrong. By doing this, you can definitely embracing all your students to play with this game. So hopefully you can play this game with all of your students without having too much difficulties. Once they have finished to check the understanding of the word, now it's time to check their understanding of this phonics family. They have learned I've, I'd, I's, this phonics family throughout the unit. So it's time to check their understanding with this flashcard. Since they already finished the game with this flashcard, you can continue from the first game that we play with. They already have their own card in front of them, so they can look at their card and they can come up from a board and then think about which family that their card is belonging to. They can think about it, and then they can come up front and then they can place. You can definitely play like that, or you can lead this game like this. First, review this sound with your students. I've, I'd, I's. Excellent, right? So think about the first one over here, center row. We are going to start with, oh, my favorite word from this unit. Oh, wide, right? Is there anyone who has this word card? Let me see. Okay. That students come up from the board and then show this word to everybody. And then the student is going to place this word underneath this I'd, and then show this motion and then say that word out loud. I'd, right? Okay, so now I'm going to finish this row all together. That means I'm going to find the word hide. Hide. Is there anyone who has this card? Let me see. Let me check. Okay, so anyone who has this card, come up from the board and then show me that motion and say that word out loud. Place this card underneath over here, right? Great job. And one more card. Oh, I remember that word, right? Oh, right. Right? Okay, excellent. Come up from the board. Finish this row. Let's read this all together. I'd, wide, hide, right. Excellent. Good job, everyone. Now, let's look at this part over here. Eyes. Now, we all know that we can live without this one, right? That means we are going to go to this third row, right? Rice. Good job, everyone. Now, we are going to go to this row all together. Excellent. Rice. Great job, everyone. And then I know that Miss Ko has a big dice, right? Okay, good. So this one goes to here. Is that right? No, right? Right, you're right. We are going to place this one over here. Excellent, everyone. Now, ooh, mice, right? Who has the card of mice? Let me see. Come up from the board and then let's place this all together. Didn't? No? How about this? Here? Not really, right? So, great job, everyone. Excellent. And we have 3 more to go. And, sorry about this. And let's read this one more time. I've, right? So, my favorite number, 5, right? We are going to place this over here. Good job. And then 2 more to go. Okay. What is this? Dive, right? Is there anyone who has this card? Let me check. Okay, come up from the board and then place this together. Good job, everyone. And last one. What is this? Hive, right? Hive. Excellent job. We finished all of this 9 card all together. You did a great job. From this on, you can lead your students to read this 9 card all together. Make sure that they understand I've, I'd, I's, and then they group 3 each, depends on this phonics family, right? So this is one of the examples that you can play with your students. And if this is the way that I can lead the students, the participation, and then first few times, the teacher definitely can lead the game like this. And then after a few times, you can let them play this game by their own. Then you can definitely see their cooperation. Now it's time to practice blending with your students. The ultimate goal to teach phonics is pretty straightforward. You want your students to have confidence to tackle unknown words in a sentence and also in a story. In order to have that confidence, your students need to practice blending a lot. So it's really recommendable for you to practice blending at the end of the unit with your students in this game kind of format. If you look at this board, you're going to see flashcard, right? That you can play with your students. If you look at the board, yes, we have consonant card, right? And also the word card that we used throughout the unit. And if you have this dice that you use from the unit, you can definitely utilize it. And also, I found out really cute material from the teacher's supply store. And when you teach phonics, this kind of material can help you to get your students' attention, right? If you look at that, you can have this I've family over here, right? So this is another example. And also the pointy fingers and then sticky ball. So the game is pretty straightforward. You invite your students and then they're going to throw a ball, right? Directly at the consonant. Wow, right? And then if you have a whiteboard, I personally think this sticky ball is gonna be your best friend throughout the year. And if you don't have a whiteboard, don't worry about it too much. You have this like pointy finger, so they can point the consonant as they wish, your students. Then you invite your students roll this dice because you invest your time and effort, so you don't want to throw this away. You can utilize once more with your students, right? So for example, your students got this consonant and this one. Then make them blend this sound together. M, eyes with the wrong vowel, I with the magic E, right? Mice. Great. Now, one more step to go. They're going to walk around the classroom to find the word card, which is mice. Do, 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 do. Is that it? 5? Not really, right? Right? Probably not. Hive? I think I can find the right one, right? Mice. So you invite the students who got it right. Give that student this card. I like to print extra flashcard, so I can give this card for my students so they can keep this card for good. In that case, this words gonna stay in my students' head longer than we expected. This is another tip that I can give you from. So this is one of the things that you can do, and also this little dog that you can definitely play with. So once again, you invite your students. They can throw the ball or point the finger at one of these like word. For example, wipe. Is that a word? And then if that is not a word, then honey, no, right? So invite all of your students, say, not this time, okay? So you can just let them sit on this seat. So once they finish with all this consonant, you can change this to eyed or eyes. So this is one of the things that you can do at the end of the unit to practice blending with your students.